Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our very first episode of Fulbright Like a Diamond podcast. So, this podcast is basically for all the teachers around the world, teachers who teach English, who teach math, physics, science, like all the teachers around the world. This podcast is exactly for you to make you better at your teaching pedagogy or teaching and learning theories or like any scholarship opportunities in the future. But basically, this podcast is based on our Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement program. So we are from the cohort spring 2023. And then this podcast is just basically for every teacher who is willing to try to apply for this amazingly effective program, Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement. So let me kindly introduce and proudly share our first guest of this podcast, our mommy, Gabby, who's from Costa Rica, and she was the most experienced and the most energetic person in our cohort, Florida Gulf Coast University 2023. And then we are over the moon to have you here, Gabby. Yay!
Oh, it's me who is over the moon because this is amazing. I mean, trying to reach you all guys all around the world and just being there for a few days and meeting so many wonderful people. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So, first, of all, we kindly would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, to the teachers who might be watching this or listening to this podcast. So the screen is yours. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Sure. Well, my name is Gabriela, which is harder for you guys. So it's Gabby. It's okay. And I've been a teacher for about 26 years now, formally in the government for 24. And I love what I do. And I think I still love it and I want to keep on doing it. I don't know for how long. Sometimes you get tired and everything, but I really love this. And I am this crazy teacher who wears costumes and who sings in the classes and who plays and who prepares plays and who, all the things that we do in class. And I really believe in what I'm doing, and I really believe that we can change the outcome of our future generations. So we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much me. Oh, and I'm Costa Rican, pura vida, everybody, and that's something you have to learn. It means pure life, pura vida, and it's our motto in our country. And I think we live through that. So that's pretty much me. So
Yes.
you asked me, Nomi.
Okay. So our co-host is our Molly, who is also from Mongolia, and I'm also from Mongolia. So we are working collaboratively to make this podcast happen, probably for many, many years in the future. So the next question is on our Molly. Please feel free to ask the next question.
It's very good to see you all. It's so nice, and thank you for joining us, Gabby. And I wanna ask you, and just how do you spend your free time and leisure time? And I know you have much work, but and also you have some free
Yeah.
time. And how do you spend that?
Well, I have two daughters, so I don't really have free time. But after that, when I have now, actually they are old enough, so I do have free time and I really appreciate it. So I love reading. That's one thing I love. I love watching series. And then I used to practice yoga, but lately I haven't doing it much. And I paint. I love painting. So that's yeah. And I like to do murals. I like to paint big paintings. So I prefer walls to canvas. But yeah, that's what I do. And now I'm learning to do new jewelry. That's my new hobby. But I'm like, I have ADHD, and in this, when you have this different and not neurotypical thing, is like you do through phases in life, right? So I have done so many things, and I was an actress in theater, and I was a dancer when I was younger. I did ballet and everything. So right now I'm in the painting and jewelry stage. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, to know. Thank you.
Yeah, that is so
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
actually I got beautiful earrings which were given by our dear Gabby. Like my earrings look really beautiful, like that beautiful blue butterfly, which kind of represents
Yeah,
uh, Costa
it's
Rica.
one of our yeah, it's one of our insects. I mean, you are sitting like on the backyard and you see them fly. They're beautiful. They like to eat mangoes and rotten fruit, and and yeah, I like to paint nature and animals and things. Well, in this case, I painted many things to bring to the US for them, and I painted many animals or things representing Costa Rica.
Yeah, and I will show the earrings very soon. So the first job I should do is ask the third question. All right. So since you shared about your leisure time, and I would like to clarify on one thing. Like you mentioned that you used to dance, ballet, and also you paint. So how do you kind of integrate your hobbies to your profession, like teaching? Do you use any kind of methods to improve the teaching practices, like based on your painting or dancing skills and so on and so forth?
Yeah, with the kids, we do art for different holidays, and we do like handcrafting because I love not just painting but other handcrafts. So we do handcrafts for different holidays. So, for instance, for Christmas, we would paint these little paper balls, and they would create like circles and stuff. And then I would bring a tree to the classroom, and they would hang it, and on the back they would write whatever they wish for Christmas, and describe how they live it with their family. And of course, they're going to talk about it when they go to the front of the class, and put it in the ornament on the tree. And that's a really, really, really lovely time because we had some time painting. Also for Easter, painting eggs and many other activities. But usually the painting part is for holidays, right? And we do egg hunts too. So they painted, and then we look for them. And I also, in a different, not just in my classes, but beside my classes, we have an art club, and they do have they paint murals, right? And we have the whole school painted, like we have lots of murals all around. So that's pretty much it. And about about theater, we do theater in English. Oh, there she has her earrings. And yeah, that's a little more for. And so we do plays in the class like in English, right? I write them and they perform it. Now I've been using, to be honest, ChatGPT to make the small plays. You ask it and it will create it for you. Of course, you have to adapt it and create other things, but it's really useful. And yeah, so we do plays and they perform, sometimes for the parents, sometimes for themselves, sometimes for the school. But this year I was late because I was in the Fulbright scholarship, so I haven't gotten the time to go into theater. And dancing, well, I don't do that often. And there's another teacher who does it. But sometimes in classes, like if you remember the classes we had with Miss De Luca, that's what we do. We just relax for a while, and okay, we're really tired. Let's have an active activity. And we do something you want to do as a teacher is you can go to YouTube and look for just dance videos and have them do that. You remember, I mean, if you move, you learn. So kids need to move. They just need 5 minutes, a 5 minute song dancing, and they will improve their learning skills.
Oh, wow. Such
Yeah.
a creative teacher. Oh my God. Which
That's
were
the positive thing of being hyperactive.
when you were describing all of those little details related to your hobbies and teaching practices, like we could see every single action in our mind, in our eyes, like, oh wow.
Great.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
You can see them in TikTok. I have them in TikTok too.
Yeah.
I record them and upload them there because the kids always want to be on their TikToks. So I had to ask parents for permission and make TikToks with them because they want to be in my TikToks doing whatever we do in class.
yeah. I do remember that Dr. De Luca used to have super fun with us, even though,
Yes.
we are doing some really tough academic stuff and it is really tiring, but she knows how to make us, energetic, make us feel like, oh, we are just having fun, not having tough time. Yeah, just letting us stand up and walking like a catwalk on the stage and dancing together. Yes, so that kind of energy from the teacher also in the classroom plays such an important role. So we definitely need to implement this like extra energetic activities with the students maybe once a week at least, right?
Well, I just see them once a week. I mean, our system is different. So I see them for a lot of hours once a week, right? So we need to do that because we have 4 hour classes or 8 hour classes. That's a full day of class. So I have two groups for like ecotourism and I have them all day long. So we have to do dancing, we have to do singing, we have to do writing, we have to do listening, we have to do speaking, we have to do like so many reading, of course, and we have to do research and we have to do many things. And I try to change an hour to an hour or 20 minutes if we are doing like a warm up or a bell ringer, it's like 5 minutes or things like that because it's really tiring to be with them all day long. So I see them once a week and it's lovely to see like, oh yeah, we have English and they're happy to go to my class and I really love them because of that.
Oh, wow. That is really intriguing and interesting for us because we see our students 3 times a week. But you
Mhm.
see your students once a week, but for many hours, like 8
Yeah.
or 7. Yeah, wow, that sounds so interesting, doesn't it,
Mhm.
Molly?
It is- I mean, schedules change from one school to the other, but in technical schools, I work in a technical school. They prefer to do it in that way for tech. I mean, technical classes like they are like little majors, like a career, a technical career when they graduate from 12th year. So they prefer to do it like that because whenever we have a field trip or things like that, we can leave all day and do not affect other classes.
Hmm. Yeah. Molly?
Yeah. You're so energetic. Yeah. I will
I
promise.
know.
I will dance with my students.
Go ahead. Yeah. Look
Yeah.
for Just Dance videos in YouTube.
Hmm. Okay, so next question for me. So, if it's okay, please share with us your strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
Okay.
Weaknesses is that I move a lot and I don't shut up enough. I mean, I talk a lot, but not with my kids. I once I start talking, I know I'm going to explain something. So it's like weakness is that I cannot stop moving and doing things. But I don't see it also like a weakness because they like it, so they enjoy it, right? Um, Strengths. Let me go first with the strength because it's easier and I like it better. Okay. I'm really creative and I'm really spontaneous. So sometimes when I see my kids, they're not having fun, they are not paying attention. I know what to do, and I'm gonna change it. I'm going to just stop the activity right there, continue with the other one, and then come back to that one. And if that one doesn't work, I'm gonna just flip it and change it. And that's a good thing when you're teaching because sometimes you have this beautiful planning and you go to this group and it works perfectly. But then you go to the second one, it doesn't work. And they do not have the feedback you want, and they do not have the attitude you want. So that's a good quality I have, spontaneity and creativity to change activities and read the students, right? To know they are um, well, there's this saying that I learned when I was studying at the university in 1994. That's a long time ago. And is keep up the pace. I remember my teacher, keep up the pace. You need the rhythm. Some teachers think that just sitting down on a desk and telling them to read something is teaching, and that's not it. I mean, you have to teach, you have to stand up, you have to clarify, or you can be sitting down. I mean, if you are in a wheelchair, you cannot stand up, but you have to have this presence, and interact with them and ask them what they're doing, and pay attention to what they're doing, not just leave them there. So I'm changing the topic now. Okay, but that's it. That's my passion. That's another good thing. And something else is that I always plan, and I always sit down and think of how I'm gonna do it, even when I change it. But I always plan, right? I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm gonna do. I know exactly about how long it's gonna take, and um, this activity didn't work, so I'm going to change it for the next group. And that planning for me is really helpful. And that's one thing I really appreciate about my brain, that I cannot just go and teach whatever, you know? It's like, I'm going to teach simple present. I'll do something just there. No, I plan. I print, I create cards, whatever, because I want them to feel they're important and I prepare for them. So that's, I think, a very important. Like when they come and they find the chairs facing each other, they know they're going to start with the speaking, right? And things like that. They learn. Oh, that's another thing. I'm very I don't know how to say this in English. I know it, but I forgot. Okay. Like they know, they learn the routines. It's not every day, but they know, like they're sitting like this. Oh, we're speaking today. Or they're sitting in groups. Oh, we're working in groups, and they come and they already know what to do. And that's one something you want to do in your classes. You want to learn them processes and routines. I'm not saying do the same thing every day, but that they can realize, oh, this is happening because we're doing something similar to this or to that, right? And I think that helps me a lot with discipline and everything because they already know what they're doing. And my weaknesses, uh, well, I think that I take this too seriously, and sometimes I need to relax more and to stop and make pauses. So when you're too passionate about something, it's really good, but at the same time, your brain starts to your stress starts to grow and things like that. So I need to stop, and sometimes I can't, and sometimes I've been sick for like a week or more just because I'm stressed out, like burnout, right? So that is something I need to control, like that, controlling my passion. And other weakness is spelling. I don't know why. I always forget, the spelling of words, or skip a letter, or even when I know it, and then the kids go like, okay, teacher, there's something there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, and I correct it. But it's a weakness because when I'm teaching like the written part, it is like that. Yeah, I don't like to talk about weaknesses, but I know there they are. I'm very patient. That's a good thing, but sometimes it's too much.
Yeah,
Sometimes you have to be really strict, and maybe I'm not. So
yeah.
be sorry, I
Thank you
speak a
for
lot.
sharing. We got the many ideas. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Wow,
Yeah,
that was really fascinating to hear about what a great teacher like has some strengths as well as weaknesses. Also, you covered several crucial things, including like burnout, also including some being spontaneous based on your lesson planning. Even though you said you plan a lot, sometimes you know when to change those plans. I think we have that kind of principle from the six principles of exemplary teaching. You remember TESOL?
Yes.
One principle, I think it was principle number 4, like adapt your lesson delivery. I think you just, covered that principle. Wow. So since you're talking about teacher burnout, so of course it's really common amongst teachers that we sometimes really feel like we have this burnout. Yeah. So when you do have burnout, how do you get rid of those burnout feelings? How do you feel like, relaxed and passionate again? Like, my question is how even you manage your life balance and stress. Yeah.
Well, I rest. Like when I went to Fulbright scholarship and I spent my January there. January were my vacation. So I started school. So when I came to Costa Rica, I felt very tired. And probably about 2 weeks ago, I was like burned totally and I was exhausted and I couldn't sleep. And one day I was teaching and I felt like crying, and that was very hard because I mean you are right there in front of the kids and you don't want to cry in front of them. And I felt exhausted, so I just left and I told them I was not feeling all right, and I went to a doctor. I mean, you just that's what you have to do. You have to look for help. You have to let people help you and say what you're feeling. And I felt terrible, and the doctor told me, well, that was a general doctor, but she told me, okay, I'm going to make a reference for the psychiatrist in case you need it. I haven't seen him yet because our system takes a while. Um, and she sent me home for 2 weeks. And the first week was, uh, I was in a hole. That's how I can describe it. Like in a deep, I don't know, like in a cave. And I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to sleep. I mean, I only wanted to sleep, and I didn't even want to take a shower. I mean, I live in Costa Rica. So I deal with 36 degrees Celsius per day normally, right? So that's normal. And I didn't want to take a shower. So I was weird, right? And then suddenly the second week, I started and I stood up and I wanted to eat and I wanted to relax, and I went out and then I went shopping and then I went to the beach. I live very close. And then I started eating good food. And then one day, well, I was supposed to go back to the doctor, but she told me if you're feeling right, you can just go back to your school. Of course, I had a medical license just to be absent for 2 weeks. And that's what I needed. Sometimes you just need to rest, and you have to be open minded about it. I'm going to be 50 this year, and yes, I know I look 30. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I know I don't look 30, and that's all right. But I'm going to be 50, and I also think that everything changes, and for us, like women, it changes more. Hormones speak differently. Everything is different. You feel different, and when I said you feel different, is the way you feel. You start experiencing other things you never felt before, so you have to manage that, right? And it's not easy, and that's okay. So what I can say to teachers: if you are tired, rest. If you're burned out, rest. Actually, when you get into depression, it's a deep rest. Repress, deep rest. All right, because that's what we need. We need to rest. And if you take things too seriously, like I do, because I really care about my kids and stuff. When you take things too seriously, you tend to have these batches, and that's okay. In my case, I just needed the vacation I didn't have, and 2 weeks were good enough, and I back on my feet and I'm teaching just like normal classes and everything. But sometimes it happens, and all you have to do is ask for help. Please ask for help. It doesn't matter what you're feeling. It doesn't matter if nobody understands it. It doesn't matter if you're listening to voices or you are just having these uh thoughts of being laying on the bed all day. That you need help, right? So doesn't matter what you do. Just look for some help, a friend, a doctor, whatever, especially a doctor if you can.
Wow, yeah, definitely. I think you have just given us such meaningful advice. Like, for example, deep rest, which means deep rest. Yeah. And sometimes teachers tend to think like we, as teachers, are the people who, don't deserve any rest because we are there for kids and students, and we need to teach them all the time. We're like robots, but sometimes, yeah, we need to accept and acknowledge that we are also people who have, hearts, who have, health issues, and we first of all need to listen to ourselves seriously, and then we can become a better teacher, right?
Course. And I've also forgot, we need to have activities to do. We need hobbies. We need exercise. It doesn't matter what. I'm not the teacher preacher in this case because I haven't done exercises for a while. But yeah, we need exercise. Go out for walk, do yoga, do meditation if you can. Whatever you like to do, but you need to do something about this, and that will help you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should put ourselves first, teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Molly?
Yes. So it seems like, and actually that happened to me when I came back after Fulbright. So
Yeah.
it so this our in Gabby's answer, and it seems like just for me. Oh, I see. I understood like that. So thank you. It's so nice. Yeah. Yeah, and
Good.
it's good
Good.
to know. Yeah. So and for me, Gabby, you're like in a good role model and like that. So and then and it's now I feel better because oh, it happens to all
Uh-huh.
people. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it happens, and people don't talk
yeah.
about it. They feel I feel no shame for anything. I mean, I dress up like
Thank you. Yeah,
Wonder Woman, and I'm 100 kilograms, and I dress up like a Wonder Woman. So
yeah.
I don't really mind about talking because um, speaking gives you power, and if this gives the power to other teachers to go and look for the help they're looking for, no problem, we can talk about it. This is it. I mean, it's a brain, right? A
Yeah,
computer gets broken, why not a brain? I mean, it's just the same.
yeah. It's very good. Yeah, thank you. So, and I also want to know who's your role model.
My role model,
Yeah,
oh my god, well, like a teacher. Well, I really admired long time ago, and I think he has been separated, and I know him, like at least on web, it was Krashen. I like the way he presented Stephen Krashen, right? His theories and everything, and I actually talked to him to have a workshop with him. I have been in workshops with him, but the way he energizes everything is something that I really like. So I think my role model is probably retired now, but I really like the way um, throughout some workshops, and not by reading him. I have to be honest. I liked him when I saw him in a workshop, and he spoke about telling stories to learn English. That's when he got me, right? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, this could be fun, and we can do things this way, and we have to remember that when we are in front of a class, we are performers. We can perform seriously and be very, uh, I don't know, political, and or we can be really fun. It depends on what we want, and I think at least in my students, I can see them change with me. It's like the class has this wave, and this is the funny part, and now we're serious, and we are doing something really serious and very academic or whatever, and now we're gonna do something fun or exciting or movement, right? And then we go down again to it. So they already know the flow, and they got adapted to it. I have to say that my students are amazing, and I love them very much. And because I mean, I've heard many stories from other schools, and that's never happened to me. Sometimes they are like, a little mischievous and do things, but not. Basically, my kids, I have to say, I love them very much. They know it, but they're really good kids, and it has to do with our society, where I mean, where the school is, and parents are doing a great job, at least with these kids in that country. I mean, in not in country, in that town where I work, and that's really, they're really good kids, and I'm so glad about that too.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So I think it's time to get into the Fulbright journey of yours. So, how
Yeah.
actually, in the first place, did you find out the program itself, the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement, and what made you decide to apply for this program?
Well, it was interesting because it was like an invitation. Let me explain. Um, I've worked for this like many years. Like at the beginnings of my career, I used to go to every conference. I used to do many workshops. I mean, to take them, right? I was even a presenter in a national conference. And then I decided to have kids, and I became a mom. And once you do that, you have no time to do that. Just teaching and kids and teach. I mean, your kids in the school and your kids at home. And then I was married too. So that, impossible. I have no time. So it was less and less that I found out about anything. So I knew about Fulbright. Like there was a guy, his last name was Fulbright, and they started a scholarship about him. I mean, but I also thought that it was only for people who went to have a master degree or a bachelor degree or whatever they do, right? And they go to study abroad, the U.S. specifically, and um I also, when you think about scholarships, most of the time they tell you is up to 40. That's too much. Or 35 years old. They have age appropriate scholarships. And I mean, I'm 49, almost 50, so it's like, yeah. But then my advisor, her name is Maricel, and she's really nice, and she has this bubbly personality. And then she tells me, Gabby, you should apply for this and this and that. I'm like, what? What is that? And then she told me about it, and she was like, go for it. It's like I don't remember if it was like 2 months before or 2 weeks before. Don't remember. The thing is that I sat down, read the thing. I didn't see that quite possible, but I sat down and I, just the way I'm talking right here, I started writing. This is the question because it's application is just a set of questions, and you just have to write essay and listen to me. I just don't stop talking. So it's the same when I write. So I started writing and answering the questions from the bottom of my heart. And then they say, well, you have to take the TOEFL. And I was like, oh, that's great. Because in here we have to pay for the TOEIC and the TOEFL to practice. And I was like, oh, that's great. They're going to give it to me. So I'm going to have the TOEFL for free. So I went and took the TOEFL. And I don't remember the other things that we do, the steps and sending this. And then they told me, well, we are going to have a meeting. And we had a meeting, like a online meeting, which was really interesting. They asked me questions, and I answered just like this. Um, it's kind of funny because I have no fear of speaking ever. It's like you can place me in front of 10,000 people, and I don't mind. You can place me in front of two people, and it's the same for me. I don't know. It's probably I cannot tell you. It's not nervousness, but I don't mind. It's like I don't really care about making a mistake or things like that. So it's pretty easy for me to talk, and I think that interview was really interesting, and I found out a little more about the program, and I heard about how it worked. And finally, they called me when. Oh no, they didn't call me. They sent an email saying, congratulations, you won the scholarship, blah, 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 all that. And I was in the middle of my class. My students were doing reading, and I started crying. There I cried. And I was like, crying, and I was like, and the kids were like, somebody died, right? Because I went out and I got water, and they were like all behind me, like five of them ran behind me. It's like, teacher, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fantastic. They couldn't understand the thing. It's like, somebody dead, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Then when I was able to breathe again and I had some water, I told them that I had won this color team and I was really excited about it. And then like 30 minutes afterwards, I went back to the classroom and talked to them. And my best friend works with me. And so I texted him because I couldn't speak. I was like trying to breathe. And he just ran to my classroom and he said, what? And I was like, then I told him. But yeah, it was very exciting. I have to be very honest. I couldn't believe I had earned it because of the age, because of, I mean, there are many things you don't think are going to happen, and it did. So, and I was so lucky, and I feel so lucky, and I am trying, to teach my colleagues everything I learned, and of course, I'm using it with my students, but I'm also trying to send it out. I mean, like whatever I learn, whatever I try to apply it in my classes, I share it with my people, right, in my country. And there's something else, but I'm gonna wait for your questions. If not, I'm gonna tell you.
Wow, what a moving as well as funny story
Yeah.
behind your application. Yeah, like once you said that somebody, was dead because of your expression. Yeah, like I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh my god. I think I really love you because of that energy,
Uh,
that emotional, expression. I think that's the main part of you that everyone in our FGCU family loves you about. Yeah. Oh, so precious.
Yes, you just have to learn not to be afraid of being yourself and feeling. Just show what you feel. I mean, there's nothing you're gonna say, nothing. Um, you can do things, but nothing you're gonna say that can shame you really if you own it, right? So it's okay.
Yeah. So exciting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we want more teachers feel like you. So when they would get an email, a congratulations email, yeah. So
Yes,
because of that, we are doing this. I think. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So and for them, for future future Fulbright T programs participants, for them, and what can be your advice? What's your advice for them is the most important one. So you have to think about it when you are flying and like that. Mm.
Okay. If you're applying for it, okay, let's talk about the previous process. If you're gonna apply, don't lie. Be yourselves. Right the way you speak, right the way you feel, because they want you. They don't want fake people saying I have and this crazy uh language. I mean, no, they want real people. They want people who have done things. And you sometimes think that what you've done is not enough. That's not right. What you're doing every single day, taking care of kids, is really important. So you just put it into the words you feel from the bottom of your heart. So just right from the bottom of your heart, be unique, be yourself. There's nobody like you. I can tell you that. I don't know what you're doing in your classes. I don't know how you work, but you care. I know you care because you're a teacher. So whatever you do, just write it with your words from the heart. Forget about grammar and all this. Yes, of course, it matters. But you start writing and then you edit, right? What you did, and you take control of the formal part. But first, write. They do not want you writing a, I don't know, a perfect essay with C2 words. No, they want real people doing real stuff, facing real challenges. That's for application, right? Second, when you are already there, if you won, enjoy it. It's a present. So there are two things. It's a present, be present. If you are there, that's where you are. So many people worry about who's at home, who's not. And yes, of course, I had two daughters here, right? and with my family and everything, but there's not much you can do. So I would tell them, if you have anything, try to solve it. If you cannot solve it, don't tell me. Just let it break if you have to, because I cannot go back, right? So you have to be present. So whatever you're gonna do, be there, right? It's pretty zen. It's mindfulness is what I'm saying, but it is like that. I mean, if you get the chance to go, be there, be open minded, be very open minded, because you're going to meet a lot of people from all different cultures, different customs, different food, different dances, different everything, and you're going to love them if you let yourself. But if you don't, if you close doors because you think of, I don't know, religion, culture, or food, and you just limit yourself and you are not allowed. And I believe in love. I mean, once, what do I mean by loving others? Okay. What I mean is that you want the best for them as the same you want for yourself. So if you want that for you, imagine you want that for your partners who are going with you there, right? So that's the way it is. That's loving. It's not like hugging them all the time and bring them flowers. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking like respect, and remember that the person you have in front of you is exactly the same way that you, but grew in a totally different place to yours, and they cannot think like you think. So be open minded about it, and differences are going to be beautiful and rich, and you learn a lot from that. That was my favorite part from you guys.
Wow, what useful suggestions. I think you speak from your heart. I think also people will listen to this podcast from their heart as well. Yeah. Wow, like from heart to heart. Thank you so much.
Great.
So genuine. Yeah. So I would like to ask about your journey in general as a F Fulbright T program participant. How was your journey in America? Which university were you assigned to? And what about your Fulbright T family cohort? What about the professors? Like the journey itself? How was it?
I was the luckiest. Okay. First of all, I'm in Costa Rica. And weather for me is an issue. I hate to be cold. Or I thought so, but then we went to Washington and it wasn't that bad. But I was very afraid of being cold because I've never been cold in my life, like really cold, right? And the lowest was in Mexico, like 5 degrees, and it was good. I was very, very covered. So I was very lucky, first because of the weather, and I was able to go to Florida. And I went to Florida Gulf Coast University with Nomi and other 19. I mean, they're like amazing, seriously amazing. I cannot believe the way they behaved, the way we treated each other. We built a family. And the university was that warm too. I mean, the teachers were that warm too. They would run if somebody got sick, because some of us did get sick, and they run for us. They would give us advices. They would take us to places. They would talk to us, and I felt respected, because sometimes you don't feel respected as as a professional when you change cultures, right? And I felt totally respected because my degree was respected. I always felt like as a professional, and that was amazing, because sometimes it doesn't happen. I don't want to comment about that, the negative things, but yeah, in there it was not like that. We were all treated like professionals, and they gave us our position and our time and our everything. They treated us really well. The Florida Gulf University is amazing. Actually, my daughters, and I told them, she keeps talking about studying marine biology, and she's going to that university to study and blah blah blah, blah. Because oh, I want to go there and stuff. Because of all the things I told them. It's amazing. The place is so beautiful. It's very different from my country. We have small houses, small schools. Well, my school is huge, but just the land, right? We have a forest in our school because it's Costa Rica is very focused on biodiversity and nature protection and all that. So the school is my school, not all schools is like that. If you go to the city, it's different, right? It's like a normal school, but in my school is very different. And going to Florida and looking at these, the university is huge for me. It was like huge. Well, first I got lost, and that's all right. But you don't get lost really easy there because you just ask people and they will help you. And people were very nice, very, very nice. They would always greet you. They would always, like people are in general nice. My teachers were amazing, and as I said, I felt like sharing with it. Probably not equals because you always have a certain level of respect for them, but they would make us feel like equals at least. It's like they did not treat us like kids or the university or something like that. So I really felt appreciated about that. Um, Florida is beautiful. It's like the beaches and everything is beautiful, like beautiful. I mean, I it's just gorgeous. The beach is amazing. The buildings compared to my country are totally different. For me, it's a little futuristic. I mean, I would love to see my country develop in that way. Talking about infrastructure and the streets and the everything, right? That's pretty fantastic. And compared to my weather is pretty much the same. So I'm like, oh yeah, we could do that. They built lakes in every building, like a little artificial lake to promote biodiversity in the area. So that was pretty. Um, I don't know how to say this. The USA for us is always like in the movies, right? But like when we went to Miami, I felt like in a movie, right? Because once you see these huge buildings, and some people are like, yeah, it was nice. No, no, I was really surprised. It was like really big and everything was so new for me and everything was like, wow. So you are like, there's the wow factor. It's like, wow. I remember this building with the shape of with the shape of a guitar. Oh my God, that was amazing. It's like everything is amazing there for us, at least, right? So shopping. Everybody goes shopping all the time because for us it was really cheap. I mean, for Costa Rica is really expensive. So I would go out and go shopping because everything was cheap. And it was like I don't know. We were like staying in the middle of like a mall, right? There was like stores all around, so it was really easy just walking there for 10 minutes, and you would go anywhere. So we get the Target, we get the Ross, and we get the Marshalls. These are not commercials, but that was a good thing, right?
Yeah, Gabby,
So we did.
I just remember the numbers of your luggage.
Oh my God, yeah. I had two huge luggage, two huge suitcases to come back. I had to pay for both of them to go to. Oh, I have to talk about that. Oh, not about the luggage. No, we're not talking about that. We're being discreet. But yes, I brought a lot of things, and I bought a lot of things for my students. I bought many games and many toys and many stickers, and they love them. They are still earning them because they have to earn them. Well, that's about gamifying. The one class we're gonna have about gamifying your classes, right? And then going to Washington, it was totally different. The city it has beautiful buildings, but they are more they're older buildings. They were like next to the White House. I don't remember the name of that building, but it's huge and it's I believe inspiring European buildings from back then time and probably 19th century, 18th century. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not pretty good our architecture, but it was amazing to see all these buildings that we do not have because we're a lot younger, right? So watching all that was like being part of a film. Sometimes I would like, really? Is this real? And the same thing happened to me when I came back because I came back and I would stand up and take a shower, and the bathroom was not where I thought it was. I was like, oh my God, I'm not in the hotel anymore. So it's a very interesting process. I don't know how to explain it, but you change reality too fast, right? The good thing is I didn't have to clean my house. I have to be honest. That was the great thing. Because I didn't have to think about that. It was like a vacation with the studies all combined together and making friends, and they were so amazing. I was blessed because of the weather, because everything was cheap and it was good shopping, because of the university was amazing, and these people were like the best part of everything. We would gather all the time to celebrate and birthdays and activities and holidays, and that was amazing too. They are like really warm people.
Oh, yeah. I just, yeah, miss every one of our FGCU family, even Fulbright T whole cohort member. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such an amazing experience and journey. Yeah. Like based on your talk you have just given right now, everything was like really great. Like it seems like you didn't have any challenges, but I should ask the
Oh,
question, what challenges you had? Did you have any challenges during your
yeah, you know I did. I got sick. Something gave me an allergy, and I didn't know what to do. And I started a rash in my arms. It was crazy. I didn't know what was causing the allergy. Now I believe it's probably a lotion I wore for like once, but I don't know why I kept reacting to everything. So it was very hard because I was in a foreign country. I didn't know the health system. I didn't know what to do. That was myself, right? But we also had a girl. Uh, I love her very much, and she got sick, and we thought she was really sick, and she fainted and everything, and we didn't know what to do. So facing all these kind of things that when you are a foreigner and you don't know where to go. So I remember I went to the book and I checked for the health system and how to do it and the phone numbers. And then I called there and they would tell me there was a walk-in clinic. So I just went there. I didn't know where. I just paid for an Uber, and I paid for an Uber. They took me there, which was in front of a Walmart, but which was good because I was fainting almost again because I needed to drink something and I didn't have it. So I just crossed the street and I was in a Walmart. And they took good care of me, and I just paid for it. I presented my health insurance, but I was so scared of something like what if this what if this my sword my throat closes because of an allergy or something like that. So it was a little terrifying, and we had some experiences like that, but basically that was like the one I fear the most. That, and I had a migraine, but I suffer from migraine like once a month or once every 2 months because of my hormone. I have a crazy hormones, right? So um I have that, and I had my medication. So I remember skipping one morning and then arriving in the afternoon because I had my medication and everything went well. And but you feel like this pressure that you cannot skip a class, and now I'm sick. Now what am I gonna do? And and when somebody else gets sick, you also get anxious. Like, how can I help? What could I do? Should I like talk to them and tell their family, or so it's really stressful being outside and not knowing what to do because you don't know how the system works and how the everything works, right? But yeah, it's not that big deal either. Once you leave it, it's not that big deal. You just go to hospital. That's it.
yeah. So I think we might be more prepared for any challenges that might be risen during this journey, yeah. But yeah, even though you aren't that much prepared, don't worry, you have a whole family to take care of you, yeah. I just
Yeah.
want to relax. Whole family is waiting for you, even the professors, your peers, everyone is really helpful when you get to go through some tough time. Yeah, so we're reaching our end now. So the final question would be about your most important takeaways that you have gained from your journey, or what are your most like three most important takeaways, and what have you been doing now in your country? Have you implemented any of those takeaways in your teaching practices yet? How is it going in general?
All right. Let me try to do this in fast again, fast as I can. The main takeaway was you guys, my family, my friends. They are my friends. It doesn't matter what they say. They are my friends, and it doesn't matter how far they are. And from that, I also learned that building a community of teachers is really important. Not, I well, I believe that from before, but now I'm totally sure that having a network of teachers with different cultures will help your practice a lot, because sometimes you do not see the world as it is, but as you live it. And that's just one story. Remember that? That's just one part of the story. We have many stories. We have um, as many stories as people we have. So my takeaway was you. And how am I applying it? Okay, I decided that we needed a network, and we still have a network with you, but Latin America faces, most of our countries faces basically the same challenges, and we need about the same help. Of course, that one school in my own country is going to be totally different from another one, but in general, right? Latin America, Central America, and South America, I mean, all of it together. So we face many common challenges. And so I decided that I was going to connect them, and I have. Last, we have we all speak Spanish and we all speak English because of the Fulbright thing. So I decided to look for people who are Fulbrighters, former Fulbrighters, and I have found them from all around, from Mexico to Argentina, all America, the whole continent. Um, and we have been having meetings, and we had yesterday actually, yeah, yesterday we had the first workshop. It was about ChatGPT. It was in Spanish because we found a guy who is a specialist in this, and he presented about artificial intelligence. And I think that just having the support or just having the talk, because he and our Fulbrighter, who is from Venezuela, they were both presenters, having their view or how they do it, struggling with different things to ours. I mean, Venezuela is a country with many uh, different things and facing other realities. So having that helps you, like to change your mindset. So that's the first thing. Intercultural exchanges and networks are really important. The second thing was all what I learned in the classes, and I'm using it like ChatGPT, like Pear Deck, and all the things that I've been like learning from that. I mean, like all the methodology and all the apps and all the sites and all what we exchanged and the activities we did in classes and all that. And I am implementing that with my students. And I'm also creating ideas. I mean, whenever I create an idea and I can present it into a class, and whenever I can record it, because sometimes I have groups where I have a permission to record the kids, and some groups I don't. So some of the kids bring it and others forget it. And it's been like that since I arrived in March, right? So sometimes I can record, sometimes I cannot. When I can record, I try to record it and I upload it to TikTok, and then I share it with all the teachers from Costa Rica and now from his Hispanic countries, and of course with you, right? Fulbrighters. So I think that whatever we're doing right, or we think we're doing right, we can share it. Because if I'm doing it wrong and somebody's gonna tell me how to do it, right? Okay, I just got to the same place, sharing, building networks, but that's okay. And the third thing was I have to be thankful for seeing the United States. For me, it was a wake up call and waking up to many things just being there because you start learning English and you have two main references and they are the USA and England, like most important, right? Like the ones who you get affected to, or at least in Costa Rica, because we're in the same continent, we are a lot influenced by what happens in the US. So being there and all I learned just from seeing, when I was in Washington the day before leaving, I left the bus and went to walk by myself. My peers were afraid, and I just texted Crisia, who was my roommate. And I was like, "I'm gonna be fine. I do not have much battery, but I'm gonna be fine. Let me just walk." And I went out and walked and met many places and talked to people, and I wanted to be like the real deal, not in a university with it was amazing with people all around the world, but I wanted to see how they live there, like in Washington. What do they do? So I went to a restaurant by myself. I talked to people by myself, and I brought a lot back from what I learned from the USA and organization they have, the freedom of speech they have, the way they ask for support. I remember this guy in a White House. There was a park in front of it, and he was like asking for surveys and things like that. And that was very amazing to see. And the way they protest, also in front of the White House, I saw many protests and I asked many things. So I learned a lot from the inside. Maybe not that much, but a little. And I was very pleased with what I brought from their culture.
Oh, yeah. So from your speech, we all can see that how much improvement and progress you have made throughout this beautiful journey with your peers, with your great professors, and just the US itself, right? So, Molly, do you
Yeah.
have any spontaneous questions?
I have new questions. And I miss my Fulbright home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you for
so does
sharing.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
It's
last,
having
oh yeah.
no, it's like having two separate lives because this is what we have now, and that's the life we left behind. But we want to put them all together. It's impossible, but it's all right. But yeah, I understand your feeling.
So the we would like to give you the last moment of this podcast. If you want to share anything, or if you feel anything is left without being asked, yeah, you can share your feelings.
Now, I'm just want to close up like telling all teachers. First of all, you need to apply. You never know. You never know. I mean, somebody could think somebody died. I don't have it. I'm at my father's place. Sorry, but yeah, Fulbright forever. And we are doing an association also from ex Fulbrighters, but those are like projects that are in the process. So I don't want to talk about them yet. But what I can say is find a group. Do not work alone. Remember, you can support others and they can support you as teachers, I'm saying. And uh, prepare yourself and don't stop taking workshops and things like that. And get enthusiastic. And I know you'll get tired, but teaching is amazing. And if you have the chance, to apply for a scholarship, please do. It is amazing. Amazing. The experience is, you cannot compare it to anything else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please apply. Yeah, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
lifelong beautiful memory throughout this journey. Yeah. Yes, so thank you so much. So we are EFL teachers from Costa Rica, Gabby and Nomi
I,
from Mongolia, and Molly also from Mongolia. So thank you so much for being with us. And we would like to sing our uh, the chorus of the song, which is Fulbright, like a diamond. Yeah. So on three, let's sing that chorus together, and let's close our
Okay.
podcast. 1, 2, 3, go. Fulbright,
Full bright like a
Like a
diamond.
diamond,
Full bright like a
bright like a
diamond.
diamond.
Full bright like a diamond.
yay! Bye bye.
Bye bye. Have a great
Bye.
oh, have a great day for you. Yes.